recently I made a on how to make a bootable puppy Linux USB stick in a legacy BIOS PC, and I had installed two puppy Linux F96 CE4 and vanilla dpup 64, and I've also created a persistence within USB stick. But today I'm going to present how to dual boot with Windows 11 and Puppy Linux stick. The reason you do not want to do it all in one hard drive is because frequently what would happen during the Windows upload, it will mess up the Puppy Linux bootable items. So that has been the problem with the usual dual boot. But let me just go ahead and show you BIOS on my Lenovo right now. So I'll just go Control Alt and Delete key, and then for me I just enter F1 repeatedly. And I had already mentioned in internal hard drive that there is a Windows 11 that I installed already. So on my BIOS, what you want to do is get into, in my case, startup, and then CSM, and then you want it enabled because you want legacy here. Boot mode, I have it on auto and legacy first. The reason I do that is because automatically, if I don't interrupt the boot process, it will boot into Puppy Linux. And then only if I want to do boot into Windows, that it will, I'll have to interrupt with a repeated F12 key in my case. But let me just go ahead and exit, and then I'll show you how I enter Windows 11. I'm gonna just keep on tapping on F12 key on my Lenovo PC, and then I'll come to a screen. So you can see here, generally speaking, it just goes right into USB. But here I can just tap into Windows Boot Manager, and it will go into Windows 11. This way, when you have it completely separated with the Puppy and USB stick and the Windows and internal hard drive, it is very safe, and I think this is probably the only proper way to go ahead and dual boot with the Windows 11. So I think that I'll go ahead and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and reboot and then get into vanilla dpup 64 and proceed on with a screen recording. Now I have rebooted into vanilla dpup 64 from my USB stick. One of the problem of booting from USB stick with a persistence in that same USB stick is that save folder function is very slow. So when you reboot or power down, it may take few minutes for it to completely save the configuration into the USB stick. So despite the Puppy Linux being mainly running a RAM, it is not true in that save folder in Puppy Linux does not get automatically loaded in RAM. So there's a great this is a great incentive to create a save partition in NVMe drive within a Windows partition. So how to do that, you have to get gparted started. And then this is the internal hard drive, which is NVMe, very fast hard drive. Now, what I have done is create this partition and labeled it as a VV. It's a save partition for Puppy Linux. So all the hard drive, the Puppy Linux distribution save folder actually get used in a very fast drive rather than USB stick itself. So to do that, obviously what you have to do is when you just open up a Windows 11 partition here, you'll be completely this will not be there. So what you have to do is click on this part and then go ahead and resize. And then that takes a while, so that's why I didn't do this. After you resize it, you go ahead and create the, you go to the left click on empty space and then create new. And then make sure you put in the label, in my case, capital V and V, as stated here, and then make that space. So that's how I did it. And then once that's done, so what you have to do is you have to go into a menu list, which is a USB stick, and then here's the menu list, and then you go ahead and drag it here. And then you have to make sure that there is psave equals, you have to adjust this to capital V and capital V because that's what I made a label with the partition. Within that partition, we'll take a look. And I've also created save folder. So within the save folder, so then these then the Puppy Linux save folder gets placed. So I already have some Puppy Linux save folders already created. So you have to make sure these are entered in both F96 CE4 and Vanilla dpub. And then reboot. So after you make sure reboot and then making sure that the VV partition is being used and within that folder that Puppy Linux save folders are being created, then you can delete the partition in USB stick. So the way you do that, and I've already done that, so it won't show up, but you go to gparted again, and in my case it's SDF. So we'll go to SDF, and there was a SAV partition here, and after making sure that VV partition is being used, I simply clicked on that and then removed the save partition within the USB stick, and that's why that's the end product. Then is then you're able to dual boot safely with Windows and Puppy Linux USB stick. And this has a distinct advantage, is that Puppy Linux USB stick having a very fast internal hard drive can utilize as a Puppy Linux save folder function, so everything is very snappy. So that's what I've done, and this is what I wanted to show you on how to, in my opinion, properly dual boot with the Windows 11 in this case, and Puppy Linux on a separate USB stick.